live.
Yeah.
Oh, hey.
Hello,
Hi,
everyone.
friends. My name is Margot, and
I'm Kimberly. I work in Reader Services at the library, which just means that I primarily deal with adult books.
I work over in youth services, and mostly I work with the small humans, meaning children and babies, and occasionally teens, but mostly children and babies.
Yeah. Our theme for this year's summer reading is a universe of stories, which just means we have pulled a couple of different selections today that fit within that theme that we think that everyone might enjoy and that everyone will get a little bit of something from. So,
Also, if you want suggestions on what to read, you can send us a message, and then we can get back to you with recommendations. Sure, I can go ahead and give first. This is a newer book we have. Hopefully y'all can see it, called Curiosity, the story of a Mars rover. It's going to be a nonfiction book. If you come to look for it, it will be with our new books in the children's department. And it is the nonfiction story of the Curiosity Mars rover. The illustrations are super cute. It's really informative. And I just love, let me find my favorite of the illustrations. It's going to take me a minute because I'm very fresh. I love this whole big thing. It's really informative. It's not too difficult of a read, so it would be a good, I'd say maybe third grade and up reading level. But also, if you have a younger kid who would be interested in it, it's also a good read with your child sort of book. So yeah, this is our all about the Mars rover program and Curiosity.
the first one I have to recommend is The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. This is one of my all-time favorite books. It's probably the closest that you'll ever get to actually reading Star Trek, like the original 1960s Star Trek. It's about a group of ragtag individuals on a spaceship just kind of punching their way through the universe, creating black holes in order to create quicker travel. It's a very diverse group of characters. It talks about a lot of really interesting topics that are definitely relatable. And there's all kinds of alien species, and there's humans, and it's just how we as humans interact with different species around the universe and just how we get along in the universe. And it's just, like I said, one of my favorite books. And I recommend this to absolutely anyone, even if you don't like sci-fi. This is a really good place to start just because it is more about the characters rather than the science part, even though there's quite a bit of science stuff in this that's really fascinating. But this one definitely fits within the theme as it is all about space.
My next book is this delightful little middle grade graphic novel here called Space Battle Lunchtime. This is about a chef from Earth who loves to bake and cook. I think she's mostly a baker. And one day she is abducted by aliens to be in basically an alien Great British Bake Off, but a lot more intense. So suddenly she is in this crazy huge space competition where she has to become the best baker in the universe. It's really fun and madcap, and the illustrations are just really colorful and gorgeous. I absolutely love it. If you like, if the kiddos like Adventure Time or any sort of thing like that, they'd like this book. If they like Amulet or, yeah, this would be another one that they would really like. So yeah, this is and it's a really quick read. It's not too difficult or super wordy. So if you have a kiddo who's slightly less confident of a reader, this might be a good sort of step.
Okay, the next one I have is not space themed whatsoever, but it still fits in with the universe of stories. It's called Bloom. It's a graphic novel. You can find it under Kevin Panetta, I think is how you say his last name. I'm going to butcher it now. I apologize. This one is a coming of age story, so it fits within the theme because we've all been young before. We've all grown up. We've all had to deal with our own issues. This one follows a boy named Ari as he's working in his family's bakery and the people he meets while he's working there. It's so adorable. It's very sweet, It's a very precious book. It just makes you feel good things, think good thoughts. The art style, I don't know if you'll be able to see, it's absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, it's gorgeous. It's just like white and like a teal color, and that's it. And it's a lot of like illustrations of baking, so it makes you super hungry and it makes you want to go out and learn how to bake or just go to a bakery and buy things if you're lazy like I am. But this one is absolutely adorable. It's one of my favorite graphic novels just because it's so soft and sweet and precious, and it's one of those ones that just, no matter what, you're going to be in a good mood when you're reading it. So, like I said, we've all been there. We've all had those awkward post-high school moments where we're just kind of navigating in the world, and that's Ari and his cute little adventures, but cannot recommend this one enough.
So if you like Bloom, another coming of age story you would really love is Aristotle and Dante discovered the secrets of the universe. I have just the audiobook here, which I highly recommend because it is narrated by Lin-Manuel Miranda, and he does a really amazing job. But it's about Dante, who's this young boy. He's in high school. He's just becoming sort of a 15, 16-year-old teenager, and he's just a really angry kid. He doesn't have a lot of friends, and he just has a hard time feeling like he has a place in the world. And then he meets, Dante is the one who is angry. I mix them up all the time. No. Double mix. Ari is angry. Dante is a soft, sweet boy. They learn how to swim together. Or he teaches him how to swim, and they become friends. And it's just a really sweet story of these two boys becoming friends and working out just sort of their life and growing up together. And very similar to, well,
Yeah,
they're very close, very close. But it's just, it's really good. It's really beautifully written and poetic and very meditative almost. But I cannot recommend this one enough.
Yeah. This next one is super famous, so you may have heard of it. It's Binti by Nadia Warkor. This one, it's a tiny, small little thing, so it can be easily read. So if you are participating in the summer reading challenge, which you should, this can definitely count. I think you need to read 5 books if you're an adult, and this one is small enough. I think it's like 60, it's 80 pages, forgive me. But it's 80 pages, it's really fast to read. It's very fun. It's fascinating. It's Nadia Warkor is like made a name for herself for creating almost like a new kind of sci-fi and fantasy, and she's just absolutely wonderful as a person and as an author. And that cover is the most beautiful cover in the world. I think there's 3 or 4 books out in the series now. So if you like this first one that follows Binti, then there are more stories for you to read about. In fact, you could probably read all of them. Challenge, and that would be great. But this one also involves space and alien creatures and interspecies relationships and finding yourself in the universe. And it's absolutely gorgeous.
On a much different note, this one's a newer book. It's a series. I just picked this specific one because it had to do with space. But it's a new series called Ada Lace about a little girl who absolutely loves science and she loves inventing things. She's invented a little robot buddy who lives in her bedroom and helps protect it. Sometimes it's not very good. It decides that if the neighbor is cooking steak, that her room is on fire and it will make everything it will start on a sprinkler in her bedroom. But in this book, Ada thinks she is getting messages from aliens, so she tries to make something to communicate with them. And I'm not going to spoil it, but the entire series, if you have kids who are kind of 2nd to 4th grade level, this is going to be a good young fiction, so early chapter book. If they're still working their way into chapter books, this is going to be a great, again, 2nd to 4th grade sort of level, Junie B. Jones kind of thing. They're not similar in content, but they're similar in the age who would read them. These are really fun, and we have a whole bunch of them. This is number 3, but I think there are 4 out currently. I'd have to double check on that. But yeah, that is Ada Lace, and this one is Take Me to Your Leader.
Okay, the next one I have is Every Heart a Doorway by Shannon McGuire. Shannon, again, I don't know how to say her name, I apologize. This one is about a wayward home for children who have gone through magical portals. So think Dorothy or Alice in Wonderland, but it's their stories after they come back to the real world. So it's all these children having to deal with that. They've been to these magical worlds and they're back here and they just kind of have to deal with how to be in the real world when they've seen so much magic. And some people want to go back to that magical realm and some people are like, oh no, I never want to go back. It was scary, no thank you. So it's absolutely fascinating. The magic system in this, how these different like portal realms are categorized is really interesting. Like she's really created her own with this. The way the characters interact with one another and the different types of characters is just one of my favorite fantasy with a little bit of horror, and it kind of captures the feeling of reading original fairy tales where they are magical and they're whimsical, but they also have an element of darkness to them. So there's a little bit of danger to it, and she just captures that feeling perfectly. This is another one of those series, like with A Long Way to a Small Angry Planet. People who aren't used to sci-fi or fantasy, I still recommend this one because it's a good starting point if you want to get into genres. And everyone remembers when we were kids, just reading fairy tales or hearing about fairy tales, we all know about them. So it's really interesting to see a different side of them coming back to our world and how they interact and just kind of like picking apart what it means to live magically and be involved in a fairy tale. So definitely recommend this for stories. Stories. It's again one of my favorites. All of these are some of my favorites, but this is really, really, really good.
Alrighty, so my next one is called Hedgehog Blasts Off. It is about a little hedgehog astronauts. It's by Jan Brett, and a lot of you might be familiar with The Mitten or Berlioz the Bear. She's done all of those. She's illustrated a ton of other books. And this one, the smartest scientist in the world is a dog. There's a bunch of dog scientists, so what is better than a world full of puppy scientists and a little hedgehog who goes on adventures in his rocket ship. It's a really cute sort of read the story to your kids, but you can also, I love the illustrations in this. It is my favorite part of it, but it's Jan Brett. The illustrations are going to be amazing. Also, the cover has glitter on it, so Hedgehog Blasts Off is all in glittery text. But yeah, if you want something that is visually really amazing, this is a must read.
Okay. My last one that I have to recommend for y'all to read is Descender by Jeff Lemire. Jeff Lemire is one of my favorite graphic novelist authors. But this one is absolutely stunning in regards to just how it is illustrated. It's so just dark and graphic, but still bright, and the way the colors are used to just kind of like emphasize certain characters and certain themes. It's so gorgeous. It's just about a little android boy navigating his way through the universe and the adventures and terrifying things he gets involved in. But yeah, it's just visually, like I said, stunning. It's just wonderful to look at, and my favorite graphic novels. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. I'm off the screen, but my last book is going to be another picture book. I want a bit picture book heavy because you just have so many gorgeous space-themed picture books. This one's just a cute, small little story called The Boy Who Went to Mars by Simon James. This is about a little boy who is feeling kind of sad because his mom is going away on a business trip. So he decides that he's going to Mars. And so he goes into his little cardboard rocket ship and blasts off to Mars. And instead of the boy coming back, a Martian comes back, which is the boy wearing a colander on his head and acting like the Martian because he's feeling really sad that his mom's not there, that she's away on the trip. So he becomes the Martian to help him deal with how he's feeling about his mom being away on the trip. And he goes to school as the Martian, and he breakfast as the Martian, and it's just about him trying to deal with his mom being away on a trip by using fantasy and imagination. And I just think it is cute as a button. That's amazing. Is it butterfly? No, oh, no butterfly. But yeah, that is my last book recommendation.
Did we get any questions?
We have not got any questions.
We will go ahead and wrap up today's
Yeah.
stream. Thank you all.
Yeah, thank you for listening to us ramble about books. That's one of the best parts about working in a library is just being able to connect readers with their new favorite reads, introduce them to our favorite books, figure out what they like to read. So even if you didn't have any questions today, feel free to come by the library, find either of us, follow us on Facebook, definitely message us, comment on our posts, interact. We want to interact with you as well and recommend more books, figure out what you want to read, and if you are a reluctant reader, we will help you with that.
You can also submit or ask for recommendations via our website.
Mm-hmm.
There's a submission form, and then we can get back to you if you have any questions on what you should read next. The website is lpl.ks.org. LPLKS.org? LPLKS.org. I apologize. I am LPLKS.org. Sorry.
Yeah.